Okay, so now you know what inequalities are. We're going to solve some inequalities. And remember, solve means find a value of x, or values of x in this case, which will make these things true. So if we look at the first one there, we've got 2x subtract 3 is less than 7. Now, the thing with inequalities is you solve them exactly as you would for a normal equation, which has got an equal sign, but just keep writing the inequality instead of the equals. So for the first one, if that was a normal equation, I would add 3 to both sides. So I'd get 2x on the left, and because I added 3 to the left, I've got to add 3 to the right. 7 plus 3 is 10. Now I've got 2x is less than 10. Divide both sides by 2. I solve it, I get x is less than 5. If I was drawing that on a number line, there's my 5. It's got an open circle because it cannot equal 5, but then x could be anything less than 5. Let's look at the second one. I've got t divided by 3 subtract 2 is greater than or equal to 4. I'm going to get rid of that subtract 2 first. So I do the opposite. I add 2. If I add 2 to the left, I've got to add 2 to the right. T divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 6. So to get t on its own on the left, I multiply by 3. But if I do it to the left-hand side, I've got to do it to the right-hand side. So I get t is greater than or equal to 18. Notice the inequality stays exactly the same all the way through in those first two cases. If I had to draw it on a number line, there's 18. Can it actually land on 18? Well, yes, it can. So I can colour in my dot, and then it's anything bigger, so anything to the right. Right, let's look at the third one. Now we've got a fraction here. The left-hand side, 10 minus 2x all over 5. I need to get rid of that by multiplying both sides by 5. So the left-hand side becomes 10 minus 2x. Sign stays the same. I've had 4, but because I multiplied the left by 5, I've got to multiply the right by 5. So I get 10 minus 2x is less than or equal to 20. I'm going to take 10 away from both sides. So the left-hand side becomes minus 2x. The right-hand side becomes 10. Now I've got negative 2x is less than or equal to 10. What I need to do to find x is divide the left-hand side by negative 2. If I divide 10 by negative 2, I would get negative 5. Now you may remember that the only rule, really, when you're solving an inequality that makes it different from solving an equation is that if you divide or multiply by a negative number, as we are here, we're dividing by negative 2, you must switch the direction of the sign. And the reason for that, essentially, if you multiply anything by a negative number, if it was positive, it becomes negative. If it was negative, it becomes positive. That means we're effectively switching the number line round. So the rule you need to remember is if you divide or multiply by a negative number in the course of solving your inequality, you must switch the direction of the sign. And that means if it was less than, it becomes greater than. If it was greater than, it becomes less than. Now let's just finish that off by drawing on the number line. Can it land on minus 5? Yes, it could actually be equal to minus 5. So I need to colour in the dot. It's going to be anything greater than negative 5. So I can draw my arrow like that.